Hey guys, and welcome back to today's video. Today I'm going to be going over Kamala Harris's 2024 best case scenario election. So this is going to be the scenario where she does the best in her best performance and what is possible of her best performance. So obviously a lot of these margins in states are going to go up a lot. So I'll go into it right now. So a lot of these states that you see I'm filling in right now are states that would have automatically gone safe for Harris no matter what. But there are a few that I'm going to change. I think in Kamala Harris's best case scenario, Colorado would be safe for the Democrats, 15 points and more. So I think it'd be shifting a couple to the left, which I already think it will be. And I do think that in my normal prediction, it would be safe for Kamala. And then in her best case scenario, Minnesota would also be safe because that is where her Vice President Tim Walz is from, and so that would be safe for her. And then Virginia, I think, could also be safe in her best case scenario, and then along with New Hampshire and Maine at large. Going into the safe states for Donald Trump in Harris's best case scenario, we can categorize a few as safe already. A lot of these would actually stay that way, but I think a few would definitely shift. So these are, I believe, the safe states. I think I could categorize Alabama. I think I'll get into why Mississippi would not be safe in a minute, but I'll explain that. For likely, Montana would be likely. I think actually Nebraska's 3rd congressional district would be safe. Probably likely for Nebraska at large. Likely for this first. And then Kansas would be lean because of the Kansas City area, Topeka, Wichita, Lawrence. A lot of those liberal cities I think would help push Harris somewhere. And then Missouri, I think, would be likely. Same with Iowa and Ohio. Mississippi, I think, would be likely, but it would shift because of the black turnout. Same with South Carolina, which I think it would have been likely anyways. Alaska would be lean. So there we have that. And then I think, what else? Oh, I forgot to mention the likely, actually, I'll get into that in a minute. For Maine 2nd Congressional District, I'm going to put that as tilt Republican. And then Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District, I'm going to put as likely. Just because that's what I think would happen in her best case scenario. Now, let's get into the likely states. I think New Mexico would be likely. If we look at 2020, Biden won it by 10.8 points. Hillary Clinton won it by 8.2, so it would shift. I don't think it could shift 5 points within 4 years, but it is possible. I just don't think the last time we've seen it as safe was in 2008 when Obama barely got in the safe, and then it shifted 5 points to the right. So I don't think we could see it actually getting in there, so I think it'd be likely. And then Nevada could also be likely, because if we look for a while during the Obama era, it was likely, and then obviously Bush had it, and then it was lean. But for the longest time, it was pretty conservative for a while. But I could see it shifting into probably. I might even put it as lean actually, but I could see it as likely. And then Arizona I could see likely just because of the abortion rights referendum there. I could see it going over a point if Harris could shift it over 0.7 to the left, I could see it going into lean. Now let's head over to Wisconsin, which also I could see going into lean. Just because of the Madison, Milwaukee, I'll go into that. As you can see here, Biden did a lot well with the suburbs of Madison, but Hillary did not. She did okay, actually, but Biden flipped this county right here, Sauk. But other than that, it's pretty much consistent, like in terms of how people vote throughout the state, it's pretty consistent. And so I can see it going for about probably 1.5 to 2 at her best. And then Michigan, I could see it going likely in her best case scenario. I think she would, in her best case scenario, she could see like what Obama saw potentially. As you can see here, 9.5, because she would do extremely well with the blacks in Wayne County, which is where Detroit is located, and then also in the suburbs of Oakland. Oakland has definitely shifted since Biden, as you can see here. It shifted quite tremendously. And then Washtenaw also, which is where Ann Arbor is located, Ingham County, which is where Michigan State is located, Lansing. Grand Rapids has definitely shifted a lot too, shifted 9 points. And then Muskegon, I also could see her getting that. And then Traverse County, which is where Traverse City is located. Just so as you can see there, it would definitely be likely in her best case scenario. Headed over to Pennsylvania, I think we could also see similar margins in Michigan. He won it by 5.4 and 10.3. So I think it could be, in her best case scenario, likely, because she'd do extremely well in the suburbs over in Allegheny County, which is where Pittsburgh is at. Erie should do pretty well. Center, Pennsylvania. Excuse me. And then where Scranton, just all the suburbs in general, I think we could see a likely margin. And so there's that. In Texas is a very interesting story of Harris's best prediction. I actually think it could go tilt for her. Now, you're probably thinking, no, Harris could never get it. Well, she could. If we look back in 2020, let's show you the shift margins. Texas shifted 3.4 points from Hillary Clinton. Well, how much did Hillary Clinton lose by? Well, she lost by a decent margin, and so that was Biden got it within 5 points, I believe, or 6. But as you can see, from 2012 to 2016, Texas was one of the only states that shifted incredibly to the left, 6.8 points. Texas is actually one of the most fastest left shifting states, as you can see. From 2000, it's shifted 12, and then 13, and then 3, and then 6, and now here we are in 2020 when most of the country shifted to the left. Texas was one of the ones that shifted. It shifted about as the rest of the country did, except a few states here and there shifted pretty liberal, and so I think in the end she could pull out a tilt margin with let me show you, here we go. She can do well down here in the south with the Latinos, and then also in Tarrant County, which is where Fort Worth is at, she could do well there. And then the Austin suburbs, over here in Houston, and then El Paso over here, I think she could just pull off a tilt margin, probably about 0.5 points or so where she wins. Down in Florida, I don't think Harris could actually win Florida. I think it'd go tilt in her best case scenario just because of how conservative it's been. I mean, if we look at 2008 and 2012, Obama narrowly won Florida. He did well. He did about 3 points in 2008 and then Trump actually narrowly won it too, but it just shifted so much from Trump. As you can see here, all of these Latinos and Hispanics were voting for Trump. And so I just don't think the hostile environment is part of the reason Harris could not win, but that's just the way it is. And so I think that's what we could see coming out of Florida. And so, yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention Maine's 2nd congressional district as to why that would be tilt is because historically speaking, it's been pretty liberal. As you can see, if we go back here, it voted pretty heavily for Obama, and then Kerry, Gore, Clinton, it voted extremely for. But from the early 90s up until Trump, actually, it voted pretty heavily, consistently Democratic. But I think in this scenario, Trump would narrowly win there. And so that's why it's like that. Now, in Georgia, Stacey Abrams is a voting right advocate for those who don't know who she is. And I think she definitely helped push the voters to get Harris, for the voters to vote for Harris. And so I think in Georgia we could see a lean to likely margin. I think just the suburbs in general had definitely shifted extremely to the left. And Georgia was one of the states that shifted a ton. If we can get it to load here. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. It shifted 5.3 points since 2016. And then 8.1 since 2012. 5.4 since 2008. And then 16 points since 2004. And Texas was another one that shifted extremely to the left, 17.3 points since 2004. Texas and Georgia are the ones that we're going to keep looking at because those are ones that are definitely shifting a lot. And same with North Carolina. As you can see here, North Carolina has been pretty consistently shifting just very narrowly to the Democrats, 2.3 points from 2016 to 2020. And so I think Georgia could be a lean margin. Here we go. Oh, wrong one. Here we go. As you can see, the suburbs have shifted tremendously from 2016 to 2020. As you can see here, like a 16-point shift. That is incredible. And then 13 here, and then 12 here, and then 5 here, and then 4. So that's pretty incredible. So I might even, I think I'll just leave it as lean for now, because I think it'd be hard to see exactly her get a likely margin unless there was incredible turnout of like 80% like Minnesota saw in 2020. And then in North Carolina, I think we could see Harris win with a tilt margin, actually maybe even lean, because Attorney General Josh Stein is running against Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson for the governor's race this year, and Josh Stein is actually a favorite to win. And so I think if we see a scenario where Josh Stein does win, who is the Democrat nominee, I think that we could see Harris also pull off a similar win in North Carolina, probably about 2 to 3 points or so. So also in the lean margin, just like Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia. And so this is my prediction as to what a good night would look for Harris. And so thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe so that my videos can get into the algorithm more, and so you can get more amazing content just like this. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please subscribe, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.